Hello and welcome everybody to Snow Voidwalker's book reviews. I am Snow Voidwalker, the polar bear chick. Nice to meet you. If you haven't seen my videos before, this is not like a professional review, but more opinionated. So, good and bad points in the story that I found. That, my opinion of good and bad points, but not like spelling or grammatical errors or whatever. Major spoiler warning if you haven't read the book yet. But today's book is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. So here's the summary. When two young rival journalists find love through a magical connection, they must face the depths of hell and war among gods to seal their fate forever. After centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again, but 18-year-old Iris Winnow just wants to hold her family together. The mother is suffering from addiction and her brother is missing from the front lines. Her best bet is to win the columnist promotion at the Oath Gazette. To combat her worries, Iris writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe door, where they vanish into the hands of Roman Kit, her cold and handsome rival at the paper. When he anonymously writes Iris back, the two of them forge a connection that will allow Iris all the way to the front lines of battle for her brother, for the fate of mankind and love. So let's get into it. As usual, we'll start off with our good points. So, good point number one is I like the setting. I really like the setting. The war between the gods using humans and monsters was very interesting to me. Like, you hear about war between the gods, but usually it's like the humans are sort of stuck in the middle. And they're using like monsters or angels or whatever else you want to call them to fight. But this time they called the humans. It's not exactly a new concept, but one I haven't seen in a while. So, number two is the author, Rebecca Ross, does a really good job of making you feel stuff with her writing. Like, a lot of authors will try and do that. They'll describe a scene that's supposed to be super sad, but for me, myself, and I, it doesn't always affect me like that. But this one, it did. This one hit me right in the gut. Right in the polar bear gut. Number three, it had good characters and good character dynamics. Like, between our two main characters, Iris and Roman. It was pretty much like a enemies to lovers, but, without them trying to kill each other. But I enjoyed their dynamic, the constant, bickering and competition between each other. And then, feelings grew. And of course, between her friend that she makes later, Addie, they had a very good relationship. It was very cute. Number four is I loved the magic typewriter. I absolutely loved it. It was such an interesting concept to me. Because you think at first, oh, it's the magic wardrobe sending letters between the two. But nope, it's the typewriter. And I loved it. Because it meant that even after she left for the front lines, or to become a frontline journalist, correspondent, that's the word. Even after she left, she could still exchange letters with Carver. Number five is, I liked how it was an almost mundane setting. In the city, she's a journalist, nothing really magical or whatever's going on. I mean, it talks about some magical things here and there, like she walks into a store and everything she can't afford comes to the front and everything she can't is pushed to the back. So there's little pieces of magic here and there, but overall it just seems like a normal city. But there's still magic everywhere. I mean, there's a war between the gods going on. She has a magic typewriter. So, number six was Marisol. Just Marisol. She's a doll. She's an absolute sweetheart. I loved her. And I'm so happy that her wife came back. I fully expected her to be dead, but she wasn't. And I was so happy. Just, Marisol, you deserve all the happiness in the world. Number seven was the description of the first kit between Iris and Roman. Oh my god, it was so sweet. It was so nice. again, the first kiss is the first kiss description is something you see a lot of in books, but not all of them does it to where you're just sitting there reading and you're sighing to yourself and you're just, that's so sweet. Number 8 was after the kiss scene, there were some very sigh-worthy scenes. Just between Iris and Roman, and you're reading it and you're just like, oh, you precious babies, you deserve happiness. Even though they hated each other at first, but you know, we're past that. And number 9, my final point, it had some really good twists. As usual, as anyone, I love good twists. And this had it. I had some really good twists. Like, one big twist was her brother Forrest now working for Dacre. Probably saying that wrong, but whatever. And personally, I still think he's working for Dacre, but not exactly like working for him. He's being influenced by him and his like personality and stuff. Because, like, he could have saved Roman. He could have at least tried, but no, he decided to choke out his sister instead. And by the time he got finished doing that, he could have fucking saved her. Him. Sorry. Anyway, could have fucking tried to save him at least. God. Now your sister hates you. Now I hate you. Now pretty much everyone hates you. Fuck you. Rant over. Anyway. So that's it for my good points. Now we go to the bad points. Bad point number 1 is I feel like Iris is too wishy-washy. I despise wishy-washy characters. That's one reason I refuse to watch Twilight or read Twilight. Just no thank you, goodbye. And thankfully it didn't last that long. Like, after she discovered Carver was actually Roman, she was just like, but I loved Carver, but now I have feelings for Roman. But they're the same guy. What do I do? You fucking date him, girl. I'm sorry, I'm getting really passionate in this one, jeez. Anyway. She was just too, like, I understand it. I understand her feelings and, you know, being kind of back and forth about it, but it still annoys me. That's it. Number 2 is I feel like after she did get over the wishy-washy stuff, the relationship moved way too fast. Cause they were just like, you're Roman, but you're also Carver. What do I do? And then, okay, yeah, I love you. Let's get married. So yeah, it just, like, I get it. It's a war setting. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. The enemy was already on the way, but it just moved too fast for me. Just damn, girl and dude. Number 3, I do wish the sirens were used more. Like, maybe it cut out some scenes, you know, time skips or whatever. Maybe they're used during that. It just doesn't tell us. But from what it was in the story, it got used one each. One for the dogs, one for the wyvern dragon things, and then one for evacuation, and that was it. So I feel like it could have gotten across how dangerous it was more where they were if they had used the sirens a bit more instead of just, you know, telling us, you know, oh hey, it's super dangerous, you know, dogs every night and dragon things dropping bombs from the sky. You only see it once though. Then you're fine. It's like once a month, then you're good. You know, whatever. But that's actually it for my bad points. So not so many. So that's a good thing. Now for the extra points. Ones I didn't think were good or bad. Just sort of there. Like, I wish that the gods had more of a part physically throughout the story. But I understand why they're not. Or why they don't. Because, you know, they're gods. They're supposed to be up high, commanding the lower beings. So it makes sense why, you know, they're not there more until like the very end, until the prologue. Then you see Dacre. But just throughout the story, you hear about them, you hear about their stories, but you don't, you know, you don't see them. It doesn't really give any details about them that much. So, number 2, it didn't feel like a young adult novel. Like, I don't know if it was the writing. I've heard some people say it was the size of the book, or the setting, or something like that. I don't know. But it's supposed to be a young adult novel, but to me, it didn't feel like one. It feels like one I would find in the sci-fi and fantasy section. Nothing wrong with that. Just saying. Number 3. I kept expecting some of the main characters to die or turn up dead. Like, I expected, okay, Marisol's gonna die. Nope. Or not, yeah, Marisol. Or I expect her wife Keenan to die. I'm pretty sure I said her name wrong. Whatever. Nope. She's good. You know, extremely happy for that. But, you know, expected Forrest to turn up dead. Nah. Kinda wish he was. Fuck you, Forrest. But, nah, he's alive. Whatever. Then expected, like, Addie to die. Or Roman. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm glad they're still alive. You know, that makes me very happy. But, yeah, still alive. So, you know, that's great. And that's it for my extra point. So, overall, it was a good story. It was a real good story. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, just an overall good story. I enjoyed it. Great characters, great setting. Rebecca Ross did an amazing job on it. I can't wait for the sequel. I give it 8 polar paws out of 10. That was good. The sequel, there is one coming out. It's called Ruthless Vows, and it's supposed to be released on December 26th. So, if you enjoy Divine Rivals, if I convinced you to read it and you enjoy it, just wait for the sequel. I'm very excited for it. That's it for this book review. Thank you so much for watching and hope you enjoyed. And bye-bye!